second because we were able to hydrate the
Oh
upload right
my
before it
god.
finished.
No way.
Adding to the arcadey Hunger Games style competition, there are announcers who commentate on the game, noting which teams have been team wiped.
Yeah, that would suck if you lost like all your loot basically, or your cash. What the heck is this guy doing? He was just reloading in front of the enemy? Okay, but there was a melee kill.
That I actually really enjoyed since it prevented any team from just camping out somewhere and hiding, since the announcers would tell everyone in the lobby what was happening.
Cash out completed by the big splash.
The finals isn't a battle royale. It allows for multiple respawns, whether or not your team
maybe there
revives
is,
you through a
but
timer that
that
counts
seemed
down
like a
and
high
requires
drop.
you to enter coin to respawn once that timer is gone. You have a limited amount of respawns, 2 per person in the standard quick play matches, but again, your teammates can revive you at any point. To encourage your teammates to revive you, they can even drag your trophy around to get to a safer position to get you back in the fight.
Fantastic steal by the big splash.
Speaking of picking up trophies, you can pick up virtually, pun intended, anything in the environment. As with the usual game logic, you can pick up flammable canisters and throw them at walls to destroy them, or throw them at players to injure them. There are also toxic gas canisters and the final signature goo containers you can throw to utilize as well. The goo containers, grenades, and guns utilize the finals concept of this weird expanding foam-looking wall. It looks like a little plush cloud barrier that deploys and hardens as it lands and provides you a bit of cover. The most unique aspect of the finals is the fact that everything can be destroyed. All the walls, buildings, new goo element, you name it. Destruction happens server-side, so everyone experiences the same destruction in the same lobby. It's easily the most fun aspect of the finals, where you can run around and literally take the ground away from an enemy team and snatch their money from them. This makes the finals stand out from any other shooter where you have to be strategic with where you position yourself or breach a room from. Here, you can breach wherever you want and no corner is safe. You simply can't play the finals like your typical shooter, and I love that about it. It's chaotic and unpredictable, which is really refreshing for a first-person shooter. No more camping out in corners when you can just RPG the floor and walls to expose the enemy team trying to cash out. Of course, with full destructible environments, there is a good and bad side to the chaos that creates. The good side is that you can constantly confuse and terrify your enemies as you destroy the ground they stand on and bash through any walls between you and them. The bad side is that while you're confusing your enemies, you're probably also going to confuse yourself and create an environment where you can't see a single damn thing around you. There were several points in matches where there would be so much destruction I couldn't see my teammates or enemies or where I was, and I was just constantly falling through the ground. I don't feel this is a terrible thing, but it's a lot of visual clutter and will most likely be extremely overwhelming to new players trying to learn the game and get a bearing for how gunplay and movement work. Maybe with more time in the game, it'll get easier to understand, like with Overwatch or Apex, but it definitely was a lot when trying to get my feet under me. The chaos is fun to deal with when I can actually play, though. In the original first preview version I played that was only open to a few press and influencers, it ran perfectly and never stuttered, even with the wild amounts of destruction that took place around me. However, in the current closed beta that players can enter by registering on Steam, performance has been a huge step back that I honestly can't believe this is the same game. I can barely get 30 FPS, especially when any destruction happens. The game looked like a PowerPoint slideshow at times, and even turning everything down to low and on performance mode, the finals just couldn't keep up. There was also this awful static noise that constantly ran in the background of the game sounds that gave me a headache after trying to battle frame rates and game issues. Between the two early access instances, the finals implemented updates to help with ability and weapon balancing issues. But with each update, it seemed that the game really struggled with finding the right balance with everything. In the current closed beta, there are far too many one-shot weapons that completely sucked the wind out of getting into a fair fight. The time to kill also never really found its footing since the beta was completely different from the preview builds, and the balance kept changing. I'd find myself having to switch to whatever gun was the most overpowered in that fresh update, and use that while still getting one-shot by the same weapon. The finals is, at the very least, a unique take on the FPS space, and I would like to see it succeed since its mechanics, movement, and gunplay are generally solid. But the current bugs and performance issues make me want to stay away until I know I can spare my eyes from 15 FPS. It was a huge disappointment to see the preview build and public beta build be completely different and full of many more issues. Embark being quick to adjust according to feedback is ultimately a green flag that does make me hopeful, but live service games are extremely difficult to keep up with on the developer and player sides. We'll see what kind of audience the
Yeah,
finals ultimately
that's
attracts and
true.
holds after the beta and the full release.
Does look promising. Does look promising. But definitely need to make sure that the performance is good. Here's the video from ITN. Alright. A few more videos. Stray Blade. That's just the line. Okay. QTEs. Combat seemed pretty good. The world looks pretty nice. I honestly like the look of it without the UI. The UI is just, I don't know. It's not very compelling. It's not really that great. It's like a simple UI design for